What if your life was not a series of random choices, but a story already written? What if the most pivotal moments, the chance encounters, the sudden urges that change everything, were not chance at all, but markers on a map laid out before you were born? In the heart of early 20th century America, a time of steel and steam, a simple man, a photographer with no medical degree and little formal education, would lie down on a couch, close his eyes, and see the threads of fate that bind us all. His name was Edgar Cayce, and he left behind a chilling possibility that the future is not something we create, but something we awaken to. He also left behind the clues, the hidden signs woven into the fabric of our daily lives that show our own future has already been set in motion. The world he was born into was one of violent contrast, a world lurching from the Gilded Age into the modern era, a time of immense hope and crushing despair. People were searching for something to hold on to as old certainties were washed away by world wars and economic collapse. Spiritualism was on the rise, with seances held in darkened parlors and showmen claiming to speak with the dead. But Cayce was different. He was no performer. Born in 1877 on a farm in rural Kentucky, he was a quiet, deeply religious man who wanted nothing more than to live a normal life. He struggled with his own strange abilities, which first appeared in childhood. They frightened him. He feared their origin was not divine, but demonic. His gift was a burden, a secret he tried to suppress. He wanted to be a husband, a father, a photographer. Yet destiny, it seemed, had other plans for him. The true beginning, the single moment that would alter the course of his life and countless others, was not born from a grand vision, but from a whisper. Or rather, the loss of one. As a young man, Cayce developed a severe case of laryngitis that left him unable to speak above a faint squeak. Doctors were baffled. For months they tried every remedy, but his voice was gone, seemingly for good. Facing a life of silence, he agreed to try an experiment based on a technique he'd stumbled upon as a boy, a self-induced hypnotic trance that allowed him to memorize his school books perfectly. As he lay on a couch, he guided himself into that same deep sleep. And then he began to speak. But it was not his voice. It was a clear, authoritative voice that diagnosed his own condition as a psychological paralysis of the vocal cords. It then prescribed a specific and unusual treatment involving targeted suggestions to increase blood circulation to the affected area. A local doctor who was present watched in astonishment as Cayce's throat and upper chest turned a deep crimson red. After 20 minutes, the voice on the couch announced the treatment was complete. Cayce awoke, and he could speak perfectly. That single event, the healing of his own voice, was the catalyst. It was the first undeniable proof that from this strange, unconscious state, he could access knowledge that was otherwise impossible to obtain. The quiet photographer from Kentucky could no longer hide from his purpose. Word of the talking cure spread. First, it was neighbors and townspeople, coming to him with their own untreatable ailments. Cayce would lie down, enter his trance, and a voice, which he called the Source, would speak through him, giving astonishingly accurate medical diagnoses and prescribing holistic remedies that worked. He never remembered a word of what he said. He was merely a vessel, a sleeping prophet. But soon the questions began to change. They were no longer just about the body, but about the soul. Why am I here? What is my purpose? What does the future hold? It was in answering these thousands of desperate questions that Cayce's readings began to outline a vast hidden architecture of reality. He started to reveal the signs, the subtle clues that our path is already laid out. The first sign, he revealed, whispers to us in the dark, in the theater of our minds, our dreams. To Cayce, dreams were not just the chaotic refuse of a day's thoughts. They were a direct line of communication with the subconscious, with the soul itself. He taught that recurring dreams were urgent messages, showing us unresolved conflicts or karmic lessons we were failing to learn in our waking lives. They were glimpses into the machinery of our fate, previews of challenges to come, or affirmations that we were on the right path. From the world of dreams, Cayce pointed to a sign that exists in our waking hours, a silent guide we so often ignore. That quiet, unexplainable certainty in the pit of your stomach. Intuition. He explained this was not mere emotion, but the voice of our higher self, the part of us that is not bound by time and space, the part that has already seen the entire map of our life. That sudden urge to take a different route home, the inexplicable distrust of a seemingly charming person, the pull towards a city you've never visited. These, Cayce said, are the nudges from the director of your own play. Then, there were the moments of impossible timing, the so-called coincidences that feel too perfect to be random. Have you ever thought of an old friend, only for them to call you moments later, or found the exact book you needed by pure chance? Cayce called these synchronicities appointments. Not appointments with people, but appointments with destiny. They were signs that the universe was conspiring to keep you on schedule, delivering the people, information, or opportunities you needed at the precise moment you needed them. For those trapped in cycles of despair, Cayce offered another sign. The recurring patterns in our lives. The same failed relationship with a different person. The same professional setback. The same personal betrayal, appearing again and again. He saw these not as tragic bad luck, but as lessons. The universe, his readings suggested, is a patient teacher. These repeating challenges are the curriculum of our soul. They are a clear sign that a fundamental lesson in our life's great plan has not yet been learned, and until it is, the test will be repeated. The body itself, Cayce insisted, was a sign. An ailment with no clear medical cause, a chronic pain that doctors could not explain, was often, in his readings, a physical manifestation of a spiritual or emotional imbalance. It was the body screaming what the mind refused to hear. A sign that one has veered so far from their true purpose, from their authentic self, that the dissonance was making them physically ill. The body was a barometer of the soul's journey. Perhaps one of the most powerful signs was hidden in plain sight, our own innate desires and talents. Cayce's readings would often reveal a person's true calling, something completely divorced from their current life. He would tell a struggling accountant that he had the soul of an artist or a lonely homemaker, that her purpose was to be a great healer. These deep-seated passions and natural abilities, Cayce taught, are not random. They are the echoes of skills honed over many lifetimes, signposts pointing directly to our soul's purpose in this one. And finally, there were the people, the strangers who feel instantly familiar, the individuals who enter our lives and change everything, for better or for worse, the intense magnetic connections that defy logic. These are not accidents. According to Cayce, they are members of our soul group. They are actors who have signed a contract to play a role in our story long before we were born. Catalysts designed to trigger our growth, to settle karmic debts, or to help us on our way. But Cayce's sight was not limited to the destinies of individuals. As his fame grew, he was asked to look at the world itself. He spoke of the 1929 stock market crash before it happened, warning his clients to get out of the market. He foresaw the coming of 2 world wars. His readings contained chilling prophecies of geological upheavals, of lands rising and falling, and even the discovery of a lost Atlantean hall of records hidden near the Sphinx in Egypt. Over 43 years, he gave more than 14,000 documented trance readings, a library of destinies now preserved, digitized, and studied by people all over the world, an unprecedented legacy of a single man who simply lay down on a couch and closed his eyes. So we are left with the unsettling question that haunted Cayce himself. Is our will truly free? Or are we simply choosing the color of the car for a journey on a road that is already paved? Cayce's teachings suggest a profound paradox, that our ultimate destination may be fixed, but the journey, how we walk the path, is our own to make. The signs are there for those who learn how to look. The recurring dream, the gut feeling, the impossible coincidence, the people who change us forever. They are the breadcrumbs left by a part of ourselves that already knows the way home. Perhaps the future is not something to be feared or predicted, but a memory waiting to happen. A story we are not writing, but simply remembering, one sign at a time. If you've ever felt the pull of an unseen hand guiding your life, or recognized one of these signs, share your story in the comments below. And for more explorations into the mysteries that lie just beneath the surface of our reality, make sure to like this video and subscribe to the channel.